This conference will now be recorded.
So what are the questions I'm going to answer? So now as part of this demo, I'm going to answer how to set up master and how to set up worker and how to set up workstation, your laptop, okay? Workstation, station. That is the stuff. That is the questions I'm going to answer in this session. And I'm going to also validate all this setup. So first question is what we have in the master. So guys, what you have in the master quickly? Can you please tell me which are the component we have in the master?
API server,
Wonderful. What else?
scheduler,
Can we go in the flow API server and then
scheduler, sorry,
that's a scheduler. That's third one. Second one
backend store,
Controller.
APCD we are forgetting. That's the most important thing. And controller manager, correct now? Wonderful.
yes,
So you guys are great actually. So now in the worker, what is the components which you need to have it worker quickly?
agent, agent,
Agent means kubelet,
Kubelet,
right?
kubelet
yeah,
agent. Yeah.
And then
Q proxy,
docker, right? And kubeproxy, correct? Yeah, so you are correct. Now in the workstation, what shall be there, what should be there? Workstation.
VM to manage master.
No, there is one utility, there is one utility which will talk to the API server. What was that?
kubectl.
kubectl.
Yes, kubectl. Remember that. Okay, guys. So kubectl has to be here. Now you know everything. Now, guys, let me ask you one thing. Kubernetes says, "Hey guys, if you want to run applications, do one thing: deploy in the pod." Pod has a container which we know already very well, and most of you have written a notes also, except 5 people. I think they have not published so far. So they are giving us instructions saying that hey, run application in the pod. So by the way, guys, this is also one application, right? ATCG application, scheduler applications, controller manager application. So actually, this is also application, right? So they should also run in the pod, correct? They should do that also. If they're asking us to run in a pod, why can't they also run in the pod? Now, questions to my mind is who can create a pod or who can create a pod? Which component? Which component?
agent, agent,
No, no, no. Tell me the component name.
Kubelet.
kubelet,
Kubelet. So guys, by the way, my statement was wrong actually. Pod cannot be created. Pod can be
instance stated,
wonderful. Now it's your homework. Difference between instantiation and creation. You find out. For example, I'll put it in a religious way. Brahma is the entity who initiate the things, but we create the things. We means human. Okay. So find out what is the difference between instantiation and creation. Okay. So kubelet. So don't you think so logically, because all these applications, if it is running in the pod, then master server should be having kubelet. Don't you think so? Now next one is pod has a container. We all know that. So who's creating container? Quickly, guys. Hello. Who's creating container? Docker,
Docker,
right? Yes, yes. So don't you think so? Docker has to be there in the master node also. Now, next thing, containers come from the what? Docker image. Agree with me? And this image has to come from the some registry, which is in this case Google registry. Okay, not a hub. This image will not come from the hub. This image will come from the Google registry, which is also publicly available. Okay, so now I understood. Okay, in the master node also, I need to install kubelet and Docker. Now, pod has a IP address. Of course, pod will have some network. So, who's managing the network? Kubeproxy. So, kubeproxy should be there. By the way, you know what? Kubeproxy is also applications. So, this also is in form of pod only. So, This cannot be a pod. Why? Because kubelet is the one who instantiate a pod, so it cannot be. And Docker also cannot be a pod. So these are the two things has to be installed. So are you correlating the discussions, all of you? What should be there in the master? Which utility has to be there in the master? All of you?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now guys, let me tell you here one simple thing. See, we kubectl talk to API server and send the request. So this we are from outside send a request to API server, but internal components also like this and like this, they are also talking to API server, right? So kubectl theoretically needed to master also and worker also. Yes, kubectl is needed. Why? Because internal component also wants to talk to API server and they have to make API call. So through that they want to make a kubectl. They want to do it through the kubectl. That's all. Now the question is, you know what? Who will see this tools? I will install it in the master. This tool I will install in the worker. No problem. Okay. But who will download all this image, instantiate a pod, configure the pod with certificates, and then also configure with the API server all these things so communications can be established. That means configuration is like a very huge work actually. If you do manually each one step by one step, it will take one day actually. This is called hardening, Kubernetes hardening. It will take one day. So what to do now? So then I will ask Kubernetes, hey Kubernetes, I'm not going to spend one day to set up a cluster. You only give me some utility, and using that, I will set up a master and worker. And then Kubernetes said, yes, I'll give it to you. And the utility name is kubeadm. This utility will help us to create a master server. That means all the components required in the master. This utility will help me, and this utility will help me to set up a worker. Now, which command? kubeadm init will set up a master. Kubeadm join will set up a worker for the master and the master. So this utility should be there also. Do you understand that, all of you? All of you? Hello?
Yes, yes,
Hello.
Raj. Yes,
Yeah.
Raj.
Okay. So yes, I need to install this utility in each server of the cluster. But the server, the node which I want to master init, the server which I want to make it worker join. Simple. Now, how do you run init and how do you run join? There's a tens of way, more than tens of way actually. Okay, many utilities are there, many cube is there, cube is there, kubeadm anyways. You have cops are there, eks, eks, aks, gke, hell lot of ways are to there. No matter which way you use it, they will internally use this and this command only. Okay, there are few more utilities are there. I must tell you here. That is for core DNS. This is the discovery services actually. This is important. Okay, there is one more is there which is called network policy pod. This is a pod only. Network policy like a Calico and all. Okay, policy. So this is also a pod actually, which you will see that. And network policy, by the way, you have in the here also. Okay, so yeah, these are the architecture. So now this is a command to set up a master. This is the command to set up a worker. Simple. Now kubectl is the one which you have to configure it. All of you are clear with that? With that?
Yes, Raj.
Yes.
Okay. Now the next question is how. See, I'll show the image, then you'll visualize a little bit better. Uh, I'll just create it. Simple one, not neat. This is my laptop, okay? This is my laptop. And in this kubelet is installed. And this is my cluster, big clusters. This is the master server and this is the worker server. And master server, we know we have one component API server. Now kubectl need to connect it to API server for the request. Agree with me, all of you?
Yes.
So the question is how this kubectl will come to know this is your API server, or this is your API server, or this is API server, and how kubectl will be authorized to do that. So that concept we call it a RBAC, which we'll discuss not now, maybe tomorrow as per the agenda. But here I'm telling you in simple way. So kubectl read one file, Which file? So there's a file called config file. Then you'll say, Rajesh, where is this file located? So this file will be located in your laptop under that user home slash dot cube slash config. Okay, clear. By the way, guys, there's a many different path also. It can be customized, but I'm not talking about the customization. Anything which is default, I'm just stating it. Okay, so you will find out the customization anyways once you become expert with that platform. So this is the file which has to be there. So now you'll say, Rajesh, what is the content of it? Content of this file. So this file, content of this file, config file. So content of the file would be, I'll put it in a simple way, okay, not complicating. URL of API server. Simple. So this is the API server, right? So this is the URL of API server. That means from your laptop, API server should be accessible. Again, I'm repeating, from the laptop, API server should be accessible. Then only you can send a request, right, over the network. So API server. Then you will say, Rajesh, okay, just by having this URL in this file, it's a YAML file, by the way. Okay, this is YAML file. So just by having this URL of this API server, will it work? No, authentication are also required. So you read that secret certificate, and then private key. Now, how then we'll say, Rajesh, where do we get the certificate and private key? See, guys, very simple concept. When any tools you set up in the world, don't you think that they create one admin access or root access, and they give that every sort of access to that guy? Don't you think so? All of you? Hello? I'm audible, right?
That's right. Yep.
So they give it, right? So same way, you know what, when you configure the cluster using the init, that means master, they will generate one admin file which you can copy, and that will have a certificate and key. How to set up this file is, you don't have to set up, actually just copy, which is located, this file is located in somewhere in the master, and then copy in your laptop and you'll start working. That's So that file will have API server address, certificate key, and private key. Now you'll say, Rajesh, I'm an admin now. I have all access, but I cannot share this certificate and private key with everyone else. Agree? So you cannot do that. So for that, what do you need to do? So for that, I had to close everything because system got crashed. So for that, we have an authentication and authorization process. Okay, and for that, I'll teach you RBAC. So that means you can customize the access of the user. Are you understanding, all of you?
Yes.
Okay, so that is the stuff. So okay, more or less we have understood everything. No more jargons. Now we will set up a cluster. Okay, so let's have a plan. Plan one. So guys, this is the plan. Plan is, I am setting up a master and then worker. So master in Ubuntu. Worker is also in Ubuntu. Sorry, Ubuntu. Now, mind it here, guys. I am setting up the latest version of Kubernetes. So, latest version of Kubernetes, you know what? One thing, that is Docker default container engine is not there. Do you have this information? All of you? The default engine, container engine is not there. Docker is not there. Docker support is not there in the default. So, what is supported? Anyone have idea?
Containerization.
Anyone? Yes, container D. So guys, earlier what was happening, I'll tell you that just for the knowledge purpose. Earlier what was happening, see here, Docker, first Docker client, like the Docker, the command, it used to send the command to the Docker D. That was the Docker server. And then Docker server used to send the command to container D. And container D used to talk to the kernel for the all this container stuff and all, namespace allocations and all. Now what has happened? Now this is the Docker flow. Okay. Now Kubernetes flow, what is happening? API server will request to the kubelet through the scheduler. Okay. Kubelet will set to container D directly, and container D directly talk to the kernel. This is a Kubernetes flow. Kubernetes, and earlier Kubernetes was doing the old version, X version, and here new version. Okay, means when I say new means 1.2324 and all. I think 2.5 also has come, maybe. I need to confirm actually. Kubernetes release download or something. uh, uh, it's there to 1.24. Yeah, 2.5 has not come. Oh, it's come, no? Here is. Yeah, it has come actually. So yeah, so 2.5 has come. So 1 point new means when I say it's 1.23 plus or something, and below before 1 point before before like this. Okay, so in this what was happening in the API server talk to the kubelet, and kubelet what used to talk to the Docker D, and Docker D used to talk to container D and kernel. So now this Docker D has been replaced in the 1.2123. Are you able to understand that now? All of you? Hello?
Yes, Rajesh.
Okay, great. So now guys, a plan is very simple. Set up a master, set up a worker, and you know what I'm doing? I see, I don't want to be outside of the cluster. Though you can have it, I don't want to be. I want to be somewhere inside a cluster only. Okay, so why? Because pod I can access only inside a cluster directly. If you want to access the pod outside of the cluster, you have to put forward that I don't want to do that right now. So what I'm going to do right now, I will set up workstation here only, or you can set it up anywhere actually. But I'm setting up in the master. Why? Because remember that how to set up a workstation. You need to have a kubectl. You need to have this file. So in the master server, do you have a kubectl? Yes, and I will have that file also. So here planage master plus workstation station, it will have in one server, and this one will have in one server. So now let's get started. So now guys, I'm going to AWS EC2 instance. I'll give you all of your machines also. Just be with me or for the demo. Okay. So here, what is the Raj, right? Create. What OS you want? Ubuntu. Which version you want? I'll go for 20x. That's tested code. And architecture 64-bit. How much RAM you want? 8 GB. Else you will stack. Okay. So 2 CPU, 8 GB. Which key I am having? So Rajesh Mumbai. I'll share the key also with you. Don't worry about that. Security groups. You know this is a worst practice, but I'm opening up all the ports because my security is not a concern right now. Learning is a concern right now. Important objective. How much hard disk? 30 GB minimum I need for that, and more or less I did it. So now I needed two machines for this, and two machines, two CPU, 8 GB RAM, each 30 GB hard disk, and 64-bit. Are you comfortable, all of you? Hello,
Yeah.
and launch. So guys, I got these two machines here. Now let me log in. Okay, so this is the machines which you have. I'll just name it so I'll not get confused myself also. This is the master and workstation, and this machines I'm having is the worker. Okay, so now I'm going to log into these machines. Okay, so putty, and this is the master machines. Okay, and I'll give you the key ppk file and pm file, both I'll give it to you, so which you can use for login. So accept. Your username is Ubuntu all the time, by default. You can be a root and run the commands, that's not a problem. So master, I'll make the background white, and worker, I'll make the background black, so you will have no confusion. So guys, I have a habit not to use sudo but root. That's my bad practice. Please excuse me for some time. Now, now the question is, how do I run init? So what I need to do, step number one, install all this utility. Then step number two, run init, and then few other configurations also. So what to do? So guys, here I'm sharing with you one script which will do the stuff. Where is the script? I forgot that locations. So I'll go to my blog, and here I'll say Kubernetes entry. So guys, here you have so many tutorials, older version, new versions and all. I want the new versions. So 1.23 Ubuntu. This is the way I want. If you want older, here it is. A few more options are will be there. A hell lot of tutorials you will find here. So depends on the your which year you are trying. If you go for 1.22, if you want to 1.22, I'll tell you. Uh, what I'll do. Too many, I can't search for like this, so I'll go for send to us like this. Okay, so search for it, here it is. So if you want to set up the Kubernetes 1.22, this is the best tutorial. In your laptop itself you can set it up here, step by step guide you have. And if you want to set up in Ubuntu, you can do this. Here some Ubuntu tutorials are there, so like that. Okay, so right now I'm not old version, I will not teach you old version, uh, but new version. So this is the new version code. Okay, so I'll set up, I'll put this in this notes also, so you'll remember that. So master, right, master, here it is. Yeah, this is the code for worker and master, both same will work. Okay, so what to do now? So here this is the code, and for master you have to run this script, and for worker you have to run this script. This is the bash way to call the web script, by the way. So this is the script. If you want to study one by one, you can study, but for time being I'll show you that through the GitHub. Okay, so here cluster setup, latest, this for master, this for worker, that's all. Now see, in order to set up all this stuff, you need to do lots of things. So all this thing I put it in a shell script, and you have one script for everything, so you can use it. For example, I want to show you this part. Okay, here, so this will create a cluster master, and I'll show you that join part somewhere downside in this file. If it's so, join part will be here. Okay, now how to install networking. Before networking, guys, do you remember this concept which I explained to you? Config file, correct? Now workstation, correct. So now that I want to show you, see here, we are creating a directory in the master itself, and copying this file, this admin file, and you are copying in this location. So this file you will have a URL certificate and key. So this is the one. Now you want to install the networking driver. So look at this. This is a Calico actually. See here, Calico installations. So if it can be VNet also, if it can be Flannel also, it's up to you which one you want. So Calico YAML, we are installing it, and so on. Are you comfortable, guys? All of you?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So nothing else I'm going to do. Nothing great. See the these are the public repository. I'm going to clone it in my git clone and done. And guys, here I'll go inside this directory and go to the server setup, cluster setup, sorry, and here latest. That's all, and run. This permission, give the permission chmod 755 and install master and install master. That's all you have to do. All the logic, if you really want to understand in depth, go line by line of the shell script, understand the manual process. So if you want to become a very good troubleshooter, you must read the shell scripting. We have a very limited time, so I'm not explaining each line, but I am assuming you are pro in Linux, working with Linux and shell scripting, so you should be able to get it. Okay, so by the way, I'm installing 1.23, but if you, let's say if you want to change this, so this code will work for 1.24 also. So how do we change it? So if you go to the latest, if you go to the master, there's one variable I've set here. So I'm installing 1.23, but if let's say if you want different variable, a different version, you can go for that one also. Make sense? Okay, so this is the one. Just wait for a few minutes more. Okay, so one thing you will be asking, okay, where the container deconfiguration is been done and changing the default one. So guys, here it is. Look at this, container configurations. So these are the all Linux command which is doing the container configurations. So here what is happening? Look at this. This is the file for the configuring the container D, and here you are setting up these other stuff. Okay, and these are the plugins you are enabling it. And here if you see runtime, you are enabling container D for the Kubernetes and done. Now these are the, this is also you have to change kubectl. This is basically a command line for container D. Okay, so you have to change runtime endpoint. This should not be docker one, this should be what, container D. So earlier it used to be docker. Okay, so like that, here you have to configure the kubectl also. Should use, this is the very important one. Kubelet should use container D. Remember that architecture discussion? Kubelet earlier you was using docker. Now how you are informing kubelet should use the container D? So you are modifying this file, okay, and entering cat, and this is the entry you are making it. Are you understanding, guys, all of you?
Yes.
Yeah, so remember that these are the changes. So read this, it will help you if you really want to troubleshoot well, okay, and pro in the Kubernetes admin work. Actually all these things you have to do. By the way, my setup is done. Can I go and read it? By the way, let me tell you guys, it has not only init, let me show you init. See here, go up, somewhere init, too many logs actually, so I'll not be able to show you probably. Somewhere here somewhere it will be see in it will be there, and after that in it what they have done, see here, the kubernetes control plane has initialized successfully. Okay, so that's the output of the init. Okay, and then they will tell you, hey, do you want to configure your workstation? This is the command. Hey, do you want to configure your install the networking? This is the one. Do you want to join more worker to this particular master? This is the command. So everything they have given it to you, but in this script which we have done it actually, which we have done it, so you don't have to do that. So let me show you this URL. I was looking for it while discussing the what to say, uh, networking. Which URL? This URL. So I got this, and here I wanted to show you this one only. I remember I was telling you network policies right now. So here you see that networking and network policy. You have ACI, Antera, Calico, Clanel, Cilium, CNI Genie, Contrib, Contrail, Flannel, Meter, Multus, and so many. These are the different product, you can say software for implementing the networking solution for Kubernetes. Remember the three rules which Kubernetes says, if you satisfy, I will allow you to become a network policy. Remember that? Which were the rules? Anyone remember that? All pods should connect to each other irrespective of node. All nodes should connect to the each pod irrespective of node, and then without a NAT. Remember that?
Yes, yes.
Yes. So please, now you'll say, Rajesh, which one is good, which one is not good. Again, it's like a different product actually. Some of the discussions I'll make it for sure, but these all are a different product. Again, you have to go into that. My suggestion would be, if you're also preparing for certification, stick to the Calico, VivNet, and Flannel. That's all. These are the certifications will be used. So Flannel and VivNet is a overlay. Now what is overlay, you need to understand that offline. And Calico is L2 actually. Where is the Calico? L2. Where is the Calico? Here it is. So this is the L2, L2 or L3. I think L2 only. Yeah, L2 only. So L2 means what? Anyone? L2 means, L2 means, guys, have you studied this network model, right? Mm, this one, remember that? We studied in colleges. We used to fail and pass because of these questions. Anyone remember?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry, my bad. Calico is L3. My bad. I forgot L2. So yeah, L3 is it. What is L3 here?
Network layer.
Yes. So this code will work on the networking layers. Okay. So this is the L3 VivNet. We have here overlay network and stuff like that. Yeah. So many things are there actually. So yes, you have to remember this URL. Study this one. Official document is the best one. Okay. To get started. How do you join the? See, I told you to join the worker. You have to run this command, and this is the API address. This is the token. Without a token, you will not be able to do that. Here token is not displayed because of security reason. Okay, so now this is the some more. This is the join which is happening. This is a Calico is being installed, and all stuff like that. And click OK. Some etcd operations, and end of it. This you have to copy. This you have to copy and keep it with yourself. What is this? So guys, this is your commands to run in worker. This is a token. So if you miss this, again you have to generate a new token for that. Okay, so you have to keep it. This is for the worker machines. Okay, so I copy, and my master and workstation is done. I repeat, my master setup and workstation is done. Can I go ahead and verify, all of you? All of you?
Yes, please.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, so kubectl get ns get pod, sorry, nodes. How many nodes? Only one node. Is it ready? Yes, ready. See, kubectl, the moment you run, that means your workstation is set up. Do you want to see this file? This file, let me show you more. This one dot cube config. See, guys, and this file is like too annoying. It's like certificate key and all is there. I can't understand this file. So you know what I'll do? I'll just look at to config view. See, this is the short version. So now I told you, right, in a config file you have a URL of what? API server, and then you will have a certificate which is irradiated actually. See here, this is a username and their certificate is here, and data private key is here. So redirected and stuff like that, so that we, this is the cluster. So here you have a cluster, context, users, and this is the one clustered setup. Multi clusters also you can set it up. Wonderful. So now I got this master done. Now let me show you that all the pods. So get kubectl get pods hyphen hyphen all namespace. What is the namespace? I'll discuss later. Look at this. First match this. So guys, do you have API server? Here it is. Do you have etcd? Here it is. Do you have controller manager? Here it is. Do you have scheduler? Here it is. Do you have proxy? Here it is. I also showed you the core DNS will have it for discovery. Here it is. And I told you proxy will require network policy also. And here it is. This. What is a 2 by 2 means? So this pod is running with a 2 container. Remaining all container, 1 container. Got it, guys, all of you? So I
This
am
why
moving
coordinate
from
for twice? Why coordinate is running for two times? Two, I see two instances of core DNS.
which one?
Core DNS, core DNS.
Core DNS. Yes, core DNS is running 2 times, and the if one is not working, second will work like a backup. So basically, what is happening? Core DNS is running as a just a second, as a just a second, hold on, kubectl get deploy hyphen n cube system, and here. So this is working as a deployment. So what is happening? Two pod is running. So if one pod is busy or not working, not responding, other pod will work as a, like a service. So this must be as a service actually. See here, core DNS service. So it's like a load balancing. I'll explain you the service concept a little bit later. So core DNS, let's say if they're hitting to this address, okay, and this is
Okay.
going to this pod and this pod. Let's say if this one pod is not responding, other pods it will load balance. So not every loads will be on, not only on the one pod. Right now two. By the way, you require more than two for the production. More than two. Mind it. So it's just for the initial setup, no? So what you will do, you will go and increase this from 2 to 10 or something like that. If you have a more load actually. It's just for learning, no? We are doing it. Got it?
Okay. Okay. Thanks, Ravi. Got it.
So, guys, these are the
Raj,
components. Yeah.
Raj, one question. For the workers we to join, we are using kubectl join. Suppose now currently we have one control plane. If you want to add one more control plane, is it possible? Meaning control one, control zero. So do we need to use kubectl init itself or kubectl join?
Uh, See, are you talking about the HA, high availability?
With respect to control nodes.
Control plane means master node, simple. This
Yes.
we call it a control plane, and
Mm-hmm.
we call it a master also. Now, here each master will have one API and
Okay.
API server, etcd, scheduler and controller. So what is your question?
Is there any chance do we have two masters?
Yes, why not? Two master, not three masters we can have it.
Yes.
We should
So
have it
okay.
because
Yeah. My question is that one. So if you want to add two masters, right? So do we need to use a join or do we need to use kubectl init?
Okay, so if you want to add, okay, I don't want to confuse you too many things, but I'll
Okay,
tell you in this
okay,
way.
okay.
See here, you can have as many masters you want, okay,
Mm-mm, mm-mm,
and you can have three master for HA because one master is not working. So you will
mm,
have a three master minimum. Now what you can do, you can create a load balancer, one load balancer, which will balance the API of this, and this. And now every your kubectl will talk to this load balancer, and this guy will decide whether to transfer this or this or this. And this you have a health check also. Load balancer default you have health check which API is responding, not responding, then only transfer the traffic. That is concept is clear, right? Now
yeah,
your
this is
question
clear.
is,
Mm,
now your question is, hey Rajesh, I want to set up a three node master. I mean three master clustered means
mm,
for this one. So so first time I will run init, no doubt about it. So should
yeah.
I run second time? Remember that, guys, all of you. I'm not adding worker. I'm adding master. Okay, I'm adding master. So what should I do? So in that case, you have to create a join but the role of the master. Okay, don't get confused. I don't want to confuse you. You see,
Mm-hmm,
if you add a new master to the existing master for HA configuration, then you have to run join. But role will be changed, not as a worker. Default role is a worker. So I'll show you this here. Kubernetes multi master cluster setup. Okay, so this is the official this is the official documents only. So
mm-mm,
don't get confused. Join is basically for worker, but if you want to add a new master, then you see this is the first initialize the control plane. This you did it. Okay, after
mm,
that remaining thing you do, see here. Here you will run the join. Let me show you. This is done. Where is it? See here. So, but this is not a worker actually. This is the new master, but you are adding to that particular HA. So don't get confused. Here roles is master. Okay. Are you
mm.
understanding? See here, read this. The control plane flag tells kubeadm join to
Okay.
create new control plane.
So, mm, no, got it.
Okay,
Thank you.
so no, but don't get all of you other people don't get confused because my I'm having a discussion and I'm stating blindly this for the worker, this for the master. But I'm not discussing HA right now. Just because of question it has come, so I'm just answering. Okay, so just stick to that. Any other questions, guys?
So when you're using kubectl join, and for the worker we are using hyphen data plane.
Yeah, API server we are using. Let me show you. See here. This is the API server address.
Oh, okay. No, I want to add a worker node.
Mhm.
So you're using join as you mentioned, right? Hyphen control plane.
Mhm.
Are you using data plane for worker node?
There is no data plane concept in Kubernetes. Okay, probably you are saying, see here, concept is very simple. This is a etcd, this is a scheduler, this is the controller, this is the API server. All four components we call it a control plane. Okay, probably what you are referring to is etcd is a data plane. Probably I'm just guessing, but we don't use these terminologies in Kubernetes. Okay,
Okay. Okay.
yeah. So, any other questions, guys? Data plane we have, in this data node concept we have in Elasticsearch. I think you are referring to that also. Okay, more questions, guys. Okay, so now I set it up the work master, and now I'm going to set up a worker. Okay, so what to do? Nothing great. Same thing. I'm going to log into these machines. Yeah. So let me log in. All of you look at my screen just for 5-10 minutes more. 1, 2. Guys, this I'll make it black only, so you will remember it's a worker. Okay, black means worker. Is it visible to everyone?
Yes.
Okay, so guys, nothing great. You know that I'm going to download that mm, this one. What to say? This repository. So git clone enter. Now this script you can go through this and cd latest cd cluster setup cd latest and now chmod 755 install work done. Clear the screen. So this will set up a worker. Now all the logic you have in that script, I would suggest you in offline hours go line by line. That I don't think so you will find any difficulties understanding it if you are well versed with Linux. Just 2 more minutes, guys. Almost done. Just downloading operations. Almost done, guys. Just be on my screen only for 5 more minutes. I don't want you to miss something because while doing lab, no, you will stuck. Okay, guys, look at my screen. That all the required setup is done, and now they are saying, "Hey, do one thing. Run this command on the master, and then whatever the output, run here." So actually, I was little clever. I copied this token already. So if you run this command, you know what? This command will be generated. This command will be generated. So I have already, so I'll just copy and paste it. I don't have to go a master and run those commands. Enter. And this is setting up your worker. Remember that this command, you run 10 worker, 10 worker will be set up for the cluster. Can I verify kubectl get nodes? And you see it's not ready because the this Calico networking pods will take few seconds, and now we have ready. Now like this you have a control plane setup, master setup, and one worker. I set it up the version 1.236, and you have in front of you. Any questions so far? Anyone? All of you? Hello? uh,
No
No question.
questions. No questions.
Yeah. Okay, guys. So now I'll help you to get comfortable. See here, you have a master setup, you have worker setup. Now, only things which you have to do, remember that know what you want from AWS. Let's say if I ask you, hey guys, go to AWS and do something. So AWS will say, hey, what do you want? So then you will say, hey, I want what? I want, what do you want from AWS? I forgot actually. Anyone? What do you want from AWS?
Ubuntu VM.
I want compute. I want storage. Correct now? I want
Okay.
security. Security. I want networking. Storage is done. Security is done. I want what else you want? So all these things. So guys, what do you want? So you want compute. Which is the resources in AWS? I forgot actually. Anyone? Compute resource. AWS resource. Compute resource. Please tell me.
EC2.
EC2 instant. Yeah, yeah. Storage, EBS, security, IAM, networking, VPC. Agree with me, right? Correct, now? Auto
Yep.
scaling group also, right? Auto scaling group you want, right? Auto scaling group, yeah. Monitoring also do you want? Monitoring, monitoring. So auto scaling group what? Auto scaling group in auto scaling group only we need it. Monitoring we have a cloud watch, correct now? So I'm teaching you AWS actually. Yes. So now when you go to AWS, you ask these are the resources. Resources, mind it, I'm using this keyword. So when you go to the Kubernetes, there also we have API resources. API server have API. Each API is called one API resources. So what you want from AWS, I mean Kubernetes? You want same thing, no? Compute you want. What you want? Pod. You want storage. What you want? PV, PVC, and all stuff like that. What do you want? Security. RBAC you want. What you want? Networking. Calico. Just now I installed it in front of you through the script. Calico one YAML file was there. What do you want? Auto scaling group. Scaling. Auto scale. You have auto scale. One resources we have. One command we have. What do you want? Monitoring. Monitoring. Uh, Guys, who's monitoring my cluster? This I forgot.
Controller. Controller.
Controller. But you know, guys, controller is monitoring, but responding, sending to whom? API server. So if you want anything, you ask API server. Correct now? So yes, what do you want? This is the things. So now I will ask you to become comfortable with the kubectl. Okay. So what to do? So let's say I don't know anything. Just type kubectl, and you have so many commands. And spend some time, 5-10 minutes. Please read this. Don't rush. Okay. Don't rush. What do you want? So I want to know all the resources of Kubernetes supported. So how do I do? How do I know that? So I'll go through this and I'll find out. I'm reading and I'm reading. Here it is. I got it. So kubectl API resources. These are the resources which is supported by Kubernetes right now. See here. I think 74 last Monday only I counted. 72, sorry. So these are the resources which is supported. What I taught you so far, only pod, which is somewhere here. Okay, so what is the versions of it? So you can ask the version also in group versioning. This is the microservices concept. Okay, so you can here versions of each API. See this. These are the versions supported for my Kubernetes cluster. Okay, so if someone is saying, hey, use this version, that version, so you have to check that whether it's supported or not. I think beta 2 you see started coming. You see here auto scaling. They have V1 also, then V2 also. This auto scaling means this one ASG. Have you used the ASG on cloud, AWS or something like that? or Azure? Auto scaling group, auto scaling feature. So here, auto scaling, multiple versions you have it, you know. So these are support. I want to know the kubectl is talking to write clustered or not, because you must be working with the multiple clustered. So here it is. You want to know the versions of kubectl which is installed in your laptop and in your server. So here this is the laptop in the server. So guys, this is something which you have here. All of you understood that what I was trying to tell you? All of you? So now I'll give you the lab for you to create a cluster, your own cluster, and run these commands and stuff like that. And so let me stop the recording.